All right, welcome in. It is the Sports Huddle on a Thursday, August 28th, as we creep ever so close to football season. Week 1 in college football, and we've got some tonight in Columbia. The Mizzou football Tigers are in action. SEMO football in 2 days, and we'll talk some Redbird baseball coming up. Was not a pretty sight last night at a pretty much empty Busch Stadium. Eric Shawn and the lead singer of the Mike Rennick Band in studio, inviting you to join us. Here is our EBOMD Huddle Hotline number, 573-334-1220. 573-334-1220. The Huddle Hotline powered by EBOMD. Mr. Michael Rennick in studio. Are you going to keep an eye on Columbia, Missouri tonight as the Eli Drinkwitz-led Mizzou football team hosts the Bears from Conway, Arkansas, Central Arkansas?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Cardinals are playing this afternoon. Not that they're worth keeping an eye on, but for the sake of good show prep, need to keep an eye on it. But I'll keep an eye tonight. Not sure I'll sit down to view the entire game, but it's always fun to see the first one.
So we know the Cardinals have sunk to 19th in tickets sold for home games. For a third straight game, under 20,000 last night, 19 and change at Busch. Business person special today, 115 against the Pirates. Do they set an all-time record at Busch Stadium 3 for lowest number of tickets sold?
I'm going to guess, oh boy.
I think it was 16-8 was
that what
the
it was?
First game of the series. That's the
I'm going to go 15-2.
Okay.
15-2.
So you say they set an all-time Busch 3 record for lowest attendance today.
I mean, everything is kind of aligning for that to take place. Now, what you don't know and what I don't know is, are they going to utilize, a lot of times, they use the schools to come out and sing the God Bless Americas or different things like that, and that can sometimes accelerate ticket sales. But I just think everything is against them.
Kids are in school.
Kids are in school.
Weather's good, though.
Weather is good.
I mean,
you just lost 2 in a row though to the Pirates.
What's with the weather though? If you think about it, I mean, we've gone from 95 to 65. It's like the weather saw a state trooper on the side of the road. Am I right?
Like they were driving through Hayti Heights.
That's what I'm saying. You do not speed in Hayti Heights.
I'm not even going to. I don't want to talk about the weather. I mean, because when you start having these conversations, the old broadcaster jinx will turn the tables. But it has been just unbelievable, fantastic. So, and it's going to be this way for the next several days. I think.
Well, it was until you talked about it.
Right. It's predicted to be that way. So, I don't think we're going to be able to slide just right into the fall weather like we are experiencing right now on a regular basis. We'll probably get hit again, but maybe the humidity won't be as bad as we get into the first part of September, even if it does warm up. But it's great. So, I mean, it's going to be, tomorrow for football, Saturday for the Red Hawks? I mean,
marvelous.
That's going to be fantastic weather.
And this is a full-service show. I've got your weather forecast for Columbia, Missouri.
For tonight.
Faurot Field. Okay, they've got some cloud cover this morning. This afternoon, decreasing clouds. Temperatures will get into the lower 80s. Now, Mizzou kicks off at 6:30. Temperatures in the middle 70s at kickoff. Decreasing clouds. Would you say that is elite football weather?
I think so. That's elite weather for almost anything going on
You're not
outside.
getting Furrow Field weather forecasts, on the radio station across town. I'm telling you that right now.
No, not at all.
And as far as the temperatures at Busch Stadium this afternoon, very reasonable. And when you're talking about the Cardinals and the Pirates, okay, one thing to keep in mind. The Cardinals have now lost the season series with the last-place Pirates.
They have, yes.
The Pirates have a better record since the All-Star break than the Cardinals. They have won 7 of 12 games against the Cardinals. And you talk to people that know baseball, and they rank the farm systems. Pirates have been so bad for so long, they have accumulated really good draft picks. Case in point, the guy who will win the Cy Young Award in the National League, his name is Paul Skeens. They've got big-time arms coming up through their farm system, including Bubba Chandler, who mowed down the Cardinals last night. He came out of the pen,
right?
But he's going to be a starter. One of their young guys. They're limiting his innings, want to get him a little taste at the big league level. Cardinals have done that with Adam Wainwright.
Sure.
I mean, when he was a rookie, he was a closer.
Yeah.
They brought him up, and the rest of his career, starting pitcher.
Terrible example, but Palante was kind of that way.
Yeah.
He started out in the bullpen a little bit, and maybe should be back in the bullpen, but it's pretty common way to ease someone into the starting rotation.
So I don't want to put you into a depression mode, but the Pirates are coming, and you got to think at some point there's going to be enough public pressure where they go out and bring in a little offense. You know who's dead last in runs scored in Major League Baseball? The Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell that to Andre Palante. They freaking clubbed him.
Right.
Like a baby seal.
Well, they would. The Pirates made a management change or manager change.
Yeah.
Was it Mayish, late May or so? They've really played pretty darn good baseball. I think they're now over 500 with him as manager. Could be wrong about that, but I thought they were maybe a game under or so. But point being, they aren't a terrible, terrible team at this point. They could score some runs, and they have the pitching that they have. You come up, you face the Cardinals, and that's got disaster written all over it.
The Cardinals have 6 more wins than the Pirates.
Yeah. They may catch them.
They could catch the Cardinals.
I wouldn't be surprised. The rotation for the Cardinals is just a mess. I mean, Sonny Gray obviously threw well last night. I know we'll probably get to the odd inning that led to the runs for the Pirates, but
he pitched terrifically last night.
But who else besides him now is doing anything? I mean,
McGreevy.
McGreevy, yeah, he is. But okay, so 2 of your 5 guys. That's not a winning formula by any means.
I would say you're correct with that.
Thank you.
Michael McGreevy, 5-2, 443 earned run average. And it's weird because they've highlighted it on the telecasts. By the way, we had multiple telecasts, national. You had FS1 last night. And then, of course, you had FanDuel Sports. We knew it was going to be on FS1. I didn't know if that would override FanDuel, but you had 2 broadcasts last night. I was kind of going back and forth.
Cardinals perform well on national broadcast, don't they?
Oh, Miles Michaelis. That's the guy you want on the mound if it's going to be national.
Mm-hmm.
Fenway Park. Yeah.
That's all you got to say.
So, last night, Sonny Gray gives you 7. 3 hits. That's it. And everything came down to that play at first base. It's the 6th inning. That's where they got their 2 runs. It was a 2-run single by, of course, Tommy Pham. And that was it because the bases were loaded with nobody out. Then Gray gets an out, so it's bases loaded, 1 out when Tommy Pham gets the hit. And with first and second, nobody out, There's a ground ball to the right side. Contreras ranging to his right. Okay. Fields it. Cocks and looks like he's going to throw to second. Sees that it's not going to be an out or it's going to be too close. Changes his mind. Throws a perfect throw to first base where Sonny Gray was right there at the bag. And he wasn't looking for the ball. I've rewound it multiple times. He's looking like he's looking at the runner at third.
Do you think he was looking to be there for potential like double play, the ball coming back from second? Was he looking that direction? Or
I think so. I think he looked away when Contreras cocked his arm and was going to throw to second, but then changed his mind. He is a veteran guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the throw was right there. In fact, it almost hit him. I mean, it was a good throw by Contreras. Now, I don't know if they still don't get that hit from Pham. You know, it would have been second and third, one out.
Still get 2 runs.
Right.
Yeah.
They may have, but they may not have.
May pitch him differently, potentially.
And in the inning, the Cardinals scored. Pedro Pages got a hit. J.J. Weatherholt gets thrown out at third after the run scores. Where's he going? I mean, I don't. That ended the inning. He's got to be at second base, at least. He got thrown. What would you say? He's thrown out by 8 feet at third base, 5 feet,
somewhere in there.
It wasn't even close. I don't know where he was going. The right fielder came up with a throw. And I think he took off to third thinking the throw was going to go through, but the first baseman cut it. That's why we have cutoff men. That's why you see first baseman cut, so they can throw to a bag. All right, he's a young player.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You said J.J. Weatherholt.
Right. He's a young player for the Cardinals.
He's a young player. And maybe he doesn't.
Drew 2 walks last night.
Drew 2 walks. Maybe doesn't necessarily know where. You gonna say Weatherholt again? Weatherholt was called up.
Oh my God. Thomas Ajayci, Weatherholt.
You're trying to summon.
You know why I said
Weatherholt?
Because I've got his box score from last night. 3 more hits. He has 3 hit games in 3 of his last 4.
I know. You're trying to summon him to the major leagues.
It's 3 for 5 last night. Sorry, for J.J. Weatherholt.
Yes,
you
you
even gave me a chance to walk it back.
I did, and you didn't.
You gave me multiple chances to walk it back. Thomas Sajasi, who drew 2 walks last night.
Saggy.
That's right. Yeah, Saggy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was caught in no man's land.
In the month of August, Weatherholt is now batting .342. His on base at AAA, 429.
Pretty good.
What are we doing? Can we call
Ask Mo.
Thomas
Ask Mo.
Sajasi from AAA? Can we get Weatherholt up here?
It's a head scratcher.
You're going to have the lowest attendance in the history of the ballpark today. You don't think when they come back from this road trip, if they call up J.J. Weatherholt, there wouldn't be a little buzz?
I wonder now if, because obviously the not that the word needed to get out, but the word's out that the attendance is just terrible and they're playing bad. I mean, now you might have folks that just are. I mean, it's all about making a statement right now. Where attendance is bad, not playing well. Okay, we're staying away.
You know whose attendance is good? Memphis. Minor league baseball attendance is down all across the minors, but. Now, it's not big numbers at Memphis, but the Memphis Redbirds, let's see, there is an article from J.J. Cooper that notes Minor League Baseball is expected to see its fewest number of fans in games since 1992. It'll be the first time the minors have drawn fewer than 30 million fans in a season since 92. It looks like from 2005 to 2019, they drew more than 40 million fans. It's going to be under 300 under 30 million. Now, the Memphis Redbirds, and I know this is a small number, they don't get massive crowds, okay? But the Memphis Redbirds are one of just 5 teams that have not relocated, just one of 5 in all of Major League Baseball, to draw an average of at least 200 fans or more per game than last year. So their attendance is up. One of only 5 minor league teams that can say that. Teams that didn't relocate. Oh, we got a new team, so there's a quick attendance boost when you go to a new location. But one of 5 in all of Major League Baseball who have seen their numbers increase by an average of 200 or more per game.
I wonder if that's been all season or if whenever Weatherholt made his way to Memphis, if they saw a big increase in attendance.
I would say yes. I mean, Quinn Matthews, Jimmy Crooks, before he got hurt, Tekoa Roby,
right,
and now Weatherholt. I mean, Memphis is doing good. Isn't that a sign that people are excited about these players?
Absolutely, it is.
Why not get them up to the big boy club?
Well, there's smarter people than you and I making those decisions, Eric.
Anyway, I know it's a broken record, but still, I'm going to stand on it. And after today, okay, we've always seen the quote-unquote September call-ups, right? Well, Cardinals do not play again at Busch Stadium after today until September 1st, which is Monday, which is Labor Day, when the Athletics will be in town. September 1st, roster expansion.
Perfect time to do it.
Bring him up.
Maybe it'll happen. Maybe especially after the debacle here with the Pirates. And even if they win today, I mean, you can't split the series with the Pirates. Because then you go on the road to, Cincinnati?
It's at Cincinnati for 3 this weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough series. You're obviously behind them in the standings. If you get to September 1 and the writing is clearly on the wall as to how the season is going to go.
Well, they're 4 games under 500 right now.
Yeah.
7.5 back.
Yeah,
they would have to jump. Right now, the Mets are all of a sudden they're playing well. They just swept the Phillies
and scoring tons of runs.
Yeah, and all their big 3 all contributed yesterday. Lindor, Alonso, Soto, and then Mark Vientos had did he hit 2 home runs yesterday? So now the Cardinals are behind the Diamondbacks, the Giants, the Reds, and the Mets. That's 4 teams they'd have to leapfrog to get that 3rd spot.
Yeah, the writing's on the wall that the season is.
Is it fair to say curtains?
Is done. I think it's fair to say that.
Okay, curtains.
Maybe it'd be better to say it starting, next week, seeing how the rest of this week plays out.
But you only have 3 more wins than the Marlins. All right.
Well, and as you said, 6 more than the Pirates. So it's not good times right now.
You only have 17 more than the Rockies. Okay, never mind. We've played that out. We've played it out. But if I said, okay, you're 7.5 back in the wild card, how many games do you think they are out in the division behind the Brewers?
Behind the Brewers, I'm going to go 13.
18 games out of first place.
18.
4th place in the division.
Wow.
I mean, we're looking at the wild card because, there is literally no chance either way, but you're closer.
What's that Milwaukee lead on the Cubs?
The lead on the Cubs is 6.5.
Okay.
6 in the loss column. Cubs aren't doing anything. They've lost back-to-back games. They're going to be a wild card, and you'll see what kind of pitching and clutch hitting you can get. Trevor McGill, the all-star closer for the Brewers, by the way, just went on the injured list. Just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. So we shall see with them. After the game, now this is a Cardinal offense, Mike, that in the last 2 games combined has 7 hits against the Pirates. 7.
Last 2 games?
0-2. Only 4 hits last night, only 3 hits the night before. What is going on with the offense, Oliver Marmol?
Overall, you look at some of the guys in our lineup, and that's been their struggle, is just production on the fastball. It's not a secret, and guys continue to ramp that up against us, and we have to figure out a way to combat it and start to move that forward. So, yeah, it's a live arm, good secondary stuff, and he did well against us, but it's mainly his stuff was good, but also just our overall production collectively as a club against the fastballs needs to improve. Yeah, he did, and there wasn't a lane for him to throw based on the base runner doing his job and not allowing him to. So he turns back to first, and right when he goes to flip, Sonny had his head down, which led to the mistake there. And we just don't have a whole lot of room for error. We got to play near perfect and take advantage of mistakes in order to win right now. And tonight, that's what happened. There's 2 parts to it. There's creating an identity offensively, and it's also evaluating individual performances at this point in the year. So I'm looking at it in a couple of different ways. When you look at 2 walks versus JC, but it's something he's working on, right? So you have to credit him to continue to go in that direction and not just be a free swinger and control the strike zone and improve his swing decisions. Herrera took the off day yesterday and used it appropriately and came back today, and there's some things that he wanted to do differently, and I think his swings showed that. They're very productive at bat. So, yes, you want to create an identity, but you also are given opportunity and allowing these guys to show what they can do and what they can't do in order to move forward for the upcoming year as well. Yeah, he did a really nice job. Was landing everything, felt good about his stuff. I mean, I think you couldn't ask for more. 5 out of 7 innings, faced 3 hitters, I believe. So, I mean, he was very efficient, effective, did exactly what we needed, just didn't offensively come through. We had some spots for it, and the guys that you would want in Burley and Contreras, and unfortunately, I mean, we got beat.
All right, he talked about Sonny Gray, too, the misplay over at first base, and they were showing the replay there. And I think he brought up a good point. It looked more like he was glancing towards second base than he was at third, because there was a runner that got to third. I think exactly what you were saying. He was getting ready for a double play toss from Mason Wynn.
Some interesting comments I read by Marmol. I'm sure you saw those, talking about, he mentioned in the comments there that they've struggled against the fastball. So comments about the team not doing enough work to prepare for the flamethrowers. That there needs to be more, like you said, work underneath, which would mean, in the cages, and those sort of things. That it's uncomfortable work, but it's work that can help you be ready for the hard throwers. Obviously work off of a machine, it's stuff that we've all kind of seen before, where you scoot up in the batter's box and you got the machine flying at you to, have you have the ball coming in as hard as able. I think some different angles that they set that machine up at as well, that they'll kind of try to account for or simulate a guy that, maybe throws crossfire or whatnot.
They've got it now. SEMO's got this in their indoor hitting facility. Okay, I'll give you an example. There is a guy in the OVC, and I can't think of his name right now, Friday night starter for one of the conference teams, who has a really good slider. Okay, mm-hmm. Well, they've got video of every pitch that every pitcher has thrown this year. that they can look at and simulate before they ever get in the batter's box. They've got every pitch, and Trevor Ezell, the hitting coach, goes over all of that. So leading up to a Friday conference game against this guy's slider, they know exactly how many RPMs and exactly how many rotations, all of the analytics on the guy's slider, and they can set their pitching machine to that exact number. And so Coach Sawyers happened to talk about it in a pregame interview before they faced this guy, that the team had been facing his slider all week.
Yeah.
That's what they can do now.
Right. Well, it just struck me that they wouldn't be doing that. He just kind of.
Was that the gist that they weren't putting in enough work?
That was the gist.
Was it Jeff Jones' article? Belleville guy.
It was. Let's see here. No, it was Derek Gould.
Okay.
And Marmol says, well, he talked about it, in that quote there. There's not room for error with their lineup, but he said it's how you practice. I think when you have a routine that doesn't lend itself well to producing against the fastball, you have to make the adjustments and practice seeing it and responding the way you're supposed to. There are several things you can do as far as underneath in the cage to improve that part of the game. At times, it's uncomfortable. And he goes on to, in the article, talk about the high-velocity machine and the high-dollar, is it called the Traject, I believe, is that mimics specific pitches.
Right.
Talking about those being available, for the team. But, I mean, he again, kind of seemed to say they're not preparing appropriately, which is surprising. Or maybe it's not surprising.
That is surprising.
Maybe it's not surprising when you see the outcomes.
The reputation of Brant Brown, the hitting coach, is the dude works nonstop.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess you can't physically place a guy in the cage against the, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, and
I'm sure that's not a blanket statement. I'm sure there are plenty of guys that are doing plenty of work, and then other guys that aren't doing as much.
I don't know. I'm obviously not there, but he seemed to allude to the fact that work could be put in to help against the fastball, and maybe it's not being done the way it should.
Update for guys who are unable to help the Cardinals. Victor Scott, who was placed on the injured list on August 17th, left ankle sprain. Remember, he tried to make that catch up against the wall. He begins a rehab assignment with Double-A Springfield today, expected to be in the lineup tomorrow, and he went through an extensive outfield workout with Coach John Jay prior to last night's game. So he's headed down to Springfield, will be in the lineup tomorrow. I think maybe Springfield's off today. So that is the latest on Victor Scott. He was eligible to come off the injured list last night, but he's going to get some swings for Springfield. John King, all of a sudden he's warming up 2 nights ago, and he felt more pain in his midsection. They think it's tied to his oblique strain that knocked him onto the injured list earlier this month.
Mm-hmm.
He is back on the injured list, and they called up Andre Granillo.
That's your boy.
So, yes.
Yeah.
He's good. Big dude, throws hard.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he's up here. Nolan Arenado went on the IL August 1st, right shoulder strain. He began hitting drills over the weekend in Jupiter. He's expected to begin a throwing program in the coming days.
Remember when you said we may not see him again the rest of the year shortly after the trade deadline and his, he just went into the tank. We may not see him the rest of the year.
May not see him ever again.
We
don't know.
May not.
We don't have a crystal ball. Brendan Donovan went on the IL 10 days ago. Foot and groin injuries. He is hitting balls off a tee and doing coach flip pitches in the batting cage. I don't know that they wouldn't shut him down for the rest of you, especially if you're going to call up Weatherholt. But I'm not sure they're going to do that. Zach Thompson, he's been out basically since late March, 60-day IL, unclear what's going to happen with him. But Andre Granillo is up, will be available. I would almost bank money he will pitch today in the business person special. So there you go. 115, by the way, for the business persons. I've got a stat of the day for you.
Really?
Okay.
Stat of the day.
Stat of the day.
Okay.
Involving the Bambino, the Sultan of Swat, the Colossus of Cloud.
Babe Ruth.
Yes. From 1915 to 1935, okay, Babe Ruth had more home runs, 714, than the entire Boston Red Sox organization, 712. And remember, it was the Red Sox that sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees. The owner, Mr. Yawkey, was a guy who was obsessed with the opera and needed some cash to implement into the opera, and so he sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees. Here is the mind-boggling part about that stat. Babe Ruth, from 15 to 35, 714 home runs, 2 more than the entire Boston Red Sox organization. 43 of those 712 by the Red Sox, by the way, were hit by Babe Ruth.
Wow. Yeah, that is mind-boggling. So 712 of the Red Sox team home runs were hit by Ruth during that time period.
Correct.
That's a hard one to wrap your head around.
714 in his career.
Right.
And during that stretch from 15 to 35, 712 for the Red Sox. But take away 43 of those if you want to take away Babe Ruth's homers right before he got sold. And our buddy Rick Weiser chimes in with this. We've been keeping an eye on the 53-man rosters. We told you yesterday that Christian Wilkerson was waived by the Bills, and so available for all the other teams, not only to be signed to the active roster, but also to a practice squad. Well, the Bills did sign him to their practice squad.
I saw that, yeah.
So Christian Wilkerson is on the practice squad for the Buffalo Bills. Ankle turn away from game day activation.
Getting called up.
Grab a uni. This tweet from Tommy Yarish. Tommy Yarish on X covers the Dallas Cowboys and asked the question at a Brian, let's get the right one, Brian Schottenheimer press conference about what separated Ryan Flournoy from earning the last wide receiver spot on the Cowboys roster. Here is the direct quote from Brian Schottenheimer. Quote, over the past 2 or 3 weeks, I would say there has been no one that has played special teams more dominant than Ryan Flournoy. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, he didn't say, does that answer your question? I threw that in for dramatic effect.
That wasn't one of those, what are we talking about here? What question? Was there a question in there?
The hell are we doing? And then, of course, we also told you that Mike Ford, former cornerback for the Red Hawks, did make the Falcons' 53-man roster, and it will be his 8th, count them 8, professional seasons now for Mike Ford.
You mentioned those special teams. It shows you, like you in the coach's show on Monday with Coach Tuke, you were talking with him about how much emphasis he puts on special teams. And, just maybe as a common fan, which, we all can be, you don't think about the defensive line, the offensive line, having, you see the quarterback, you see the receivers, you see the running backs, but here's a NFL roster spot that was made because of special teams and his dominance in it. So all facets of the game are important, and the coaches that know what they're doing are looking out for all parts of the game.
What's going to be interesting in Jonesboro Saturday when SEMO plays Arkansas State, special teams, all new guys on both teams. SEMO has a new punter, albeit he's 6'6", transfer from Eastern Michigan, so he's a Division I guy. And they have a new kicker. So, new punter, new kicker. Same thing with Arkansas State. They've got a redshirt freshman punter and a freshman kicker who transferred from SMU. So I don't know if he was a walk-on at SMU, but he didn't kick for him. So both of these teams have guys getting their first taste of Division I football on Saturday on special teams, important parts. And one of the questions I asked Coach Tuke at the coaches show about special teams, one of their issues at times the last couple of years, not as many kickoff touchbacks as they would like. And I asked him about that. He was talking about special teams, and I asked him, okay, in your practices, how about touchbacks? And he's like, I am very happy with the number of touchbacks that we're kicking. It's a big part of the game.
And again, but that's a part that just, you think, they get the ball at the 30-yard line, who cares? Well, that's, or wherever they may end up, with the ball if there's not a touchback. Same thing with punts. That's how you kind of, switch the fields, right? Field position.
Coach Tuke always says the biggest offensive play in most games is a punt. Think about how many yards, and you flip the field. It is field position football, and he said, quite frankly, we're playing an FBS school, okay? Red Hawks have lost 23 consecutive games against FBS. Their lone win, and I was there and broadcast the game in 2002 when they beat Middle Tennessee State. They had a running back from Hawaii named Keiki Misapeka.
I remember him.
And he ripped off like a 70-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter, and you knew it was over when he did. I think they won by 10, but you knew that they had won the game with that run from Keiki in 2002. Since then, 23 consecutive losses. And they've had some close calls. Billings should have beaten Eastern Michigan twice, had them beat twice. And of all people, in 2001, Willie Ponder dropped a third down pass that would have iced the game. They would have run out the clock. And it was right in his hands. Like one of the greatest receivers Seamo's ever had. And he just dropped it. Or they would have beaten Eastern Michigan. They should have beaten New Mexico State last year. They've had some close calls where they haven't gotten one. And they'll be, heavy underdogs coming up on Saturday. But what Coach Tuke said, a punt will not be a bad thing on Saturday.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, especially if you can pin them back. And, he talked about, obviously, the strength of their defense and let them go to work and create turnovers, those sort of things potentially. And
this is going to be the best offense that they'll see all year. This is a really good offense. So if SEMO can hold them to 3 touchdowns or so, I would say you're encouraged by SEMO's touchdown, and hold him to some field goal attempts, keep him out of the end zone. Third-year starter at quarterback. Put it this way.
He's a dual threat guy also.
Yes, dual threat. He's all conference. Their running back's all conference. Their wide receiver is not only all conference. He's on the Biletnikoff Award Watch list, and he already holds the all-time passing yardage mark in the history of Arkansas State football. He's just a handful of catches and touchdowns away from breaking those records. He'll shatter those records. So, in other words, statistically, the greatest wideout who's ever played at Arkansas State. All 3 of those critical skill positions, they are all Sun Belt Conference.
And I think this is brought up, and it's been brought up a couple of times. Just, you think, well, you're not playing Mizzou, so, hey, we got a chance. It's an FBS program. And, when you go down that list of how many losses in a row, that's not an indictment on SEMO.
No.
Like, you're not supposed to win those games.
I just told you 3 FBS games they should have won.
Right. Yes. But
I was there.
But
they should have won all 3 of those games, but they didn't.
And going in on Saturday, and maybe Arkansas State's not a sexy name of a FBS school, but they are an FBS school that's had a great tradition of winning, and obviously, as you just said, so
they've won.
Kind of need to temper the expectations a little bit going in, and see what happens. Coming out of it.
It's a huge upset if SEMO wins,
absolutely,
but it's not out of the realm.
Right?
You force some turnovers, make some plays, be able to run the football and control the clock, and keep that high-powered offense off the field as much as possible. I mean, that's the game plan.
Probably be the formula that you will see.
Can you run the football against these guys?
With their thunder and lightning?
Yeah. Their
version of it?
Brandon Epton. He's listed as the starter. Peyton Brown is listed as a backup, but I think you're going to see both those guys out there. And they both have shown the ability to help in the passing game, catching the ball out of the backfield. Geno Hess only did that like his senior year. I mean, he got better, but he was not much of a pass catcher, which is why they didn't utilize him a lot. He wasn't. That wasn't his strength.
Won this game.
His strength was give him the football and go, right? And he's the greatest running back they've ever had. But they've had some great running backs. They've had All-American running backs. I mean, Henry Harris on that 2010 team, All-American, right?
Yeah.
First conference championship at the OVC at the Division I level. Marquez Terry, All-American. Geno Hess, All-World. And, Epton and Peyton Brown, these guys have that kind of talent to be I'm not saying All-American, but they've got all-conference caliber talent. I mean, those are 2 really good OVC running backs. Are they going to have some daylight? Are they going to have some seams?
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Be able to run the ball.
Right.
Control the clock a little bit, not put all of, if it's 3rd and 13 a lot, it's not going to be a good day for the Redhawks. When they say we can't get behind the chains, what does that mean? Well, if it's more than 10 yards to go on a down, that means that you are behind the 10-yard chains on the sideline. It's 2nd and 13. You're behind that first chain. If it's 2nd and 9, you're not behind the chains. You're behind one chain, but not both chains.
Yeah, you don't got to.
So when you hear the phrase, we can't get behind the chains, that means double-digit yards to go for the first down. And, new guys on the offensive line, guys that have played, but not started. You got one guy back, your left tackle. False starts early in the season, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then you are behind the chains. Somebody jumped.
Yeah.
Third and 7 is now 3rd and 12. Okay.
Yeah, you pretty much have to play a perfect game coming out of the gates. And that's a tough task to play a perfect game right out of the chute. I mean, you've got a new quarterback, as you said, guys that are relatively new to the offensive line. You're playing a team that is going to probably force you to make some mistakes. They're going to want to force you to make some mistakes. So, can you have that perfect game? No penalties or a low volume of penalties, and possess the clock and control the field and see what happens.
You taking some phone calls?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to the EBOMD Huddle Hotline. Ken joins us on the hotline. Good morning, Ken. Welcome into the Huddle.
Hey, guys, 2 days away. Can't wait to make the short trek for me, anyway, down to Jonesboro. I actually going down Friday, tomorrow afternoon. The Poplar Bluff Mules play Valley View, which is a Class 5 or 5A down there, football power. So we'll do the old double dip for the weekend down there.
Perfect.
Yeah. Hey, something nobody's really talking about a whole lot, and we'll see if it matters any at all, but a lifetime of opportunity for Arkansas State and their fans is going to happen next Saturday as they will go to Little Rock to finally get a chance to play the University of Arkansas in football. So
Arkansas has done everything in their power over decades to not schedule Arkansas State in any sport. I mean any sport. Now, they have in other sports, but they've never played in football, Ken. In fact, it even went to the state government. They tried to get state lawmakers to pass a motion where Arkansas had to play Arkansas State. It never happened, and finally it's going to happen for Arkansas State.
That's a crazy story. And, you got to think, maybe they're going to look ahead to that, past the Red Hawks a little bit to that game. That's a huge deal. From everything I've read, it looks like maybe a one and done, that it's not going to be, an annual or even every, like you said, they were forced into playing and may never play again. Now, will they still have the talent, even if they do look past SEMO to win, possibly, probably, who knows? But that, to me, a very interesting sidebar there, because them and their fans for decades have had the dream of playing Arkansas. I remember years and years ago down that way, you used to see bumper stickers that said, "How long will the Hogs run?" So yeah, they're licking their chops over this one.
Yeah, and if you are familiar with any Arkansas State fans, now I've been making that drive for 25 years because SEMO's been playing them in baseball every year. Now, there were a few years, the last few, where Arkansas State had been dodging SEMO, but their coach was trying to extend his life, and his life got snuffed. He was fired, Tommy Raffo, so they did play last year. But Arkansas State fans referred to them, and I'm speaking of the Razorbacks, Ken. They don't refer to them as the Hogs. They do not refer to them as the Razorbacks. They refer to Arkansas as the Swine.
That's good stuff.
Truth, not fiction.
And, I think, and to Mike's point earlier, too, I think, some Red Hawk fans would get caught up in the whole Division I thing. And, yeah, we compete with them in, baseball, volleyball. We don't play that much in men's basketball, but we compete with them in most every sport. But the FBS, FCS, you guys talked about 85 scholarships to 68. They've got a 30,000-seat stadium that they've renovated, a multi-million-dollar indoor facility. So that's what we're up against, battling for players. And their roster's chock full of D1 transfers. They've got virtually no production back on defense, but with the current climate in the state of college football, their defense could be way better than it was last year. Just depend on how their transfers come out. But anyway, it's going to be a big hill to climb, but it should be a good time, a great time, a decent payday. And again, hey, we want to win the game, yeah, but come out of it healthy, and then get ready for North Alabama, and then so on and so forth. But looking forward to it. It's a great great campus, great stadium. It'll be a great atmosphere down there Saturday evening for sure.
Can't wait. And when you get off here, Ken, make sure you hang on. I'm going to do the Tyler Hansbrough story coming up.
Oh, I will.
All right.
Good deal. Hey, see you Saturday night, Eric.
All right, Ken. Travel safe. He's headed down early for because Poplar Bluff Mules playing a little football.
Yeah.
All right. We've got to take a timeout. We've got the Tyler Hansbrough story. Professor Hansbrough at the University of North Carolina. Much more Mizzou football tonight at Faurot Field. We are just hours away from nonstop pigskin. It's the Sports Huddle, SEMO ESPN. 1220 AM, 93.5 on the FM dial and online at SEMOESPN.com. Eric Shawn, Mike Rennick in studio. Michael, what is that music?
Is that the theme song of the Jaws?
That is correct, sir.
Jaws. Yeah. That's pretty easy.
In celebration of the 50th anniversary of the release of one of the greatest movies of all time, a movie that frightened the nation. People didn't want to go to freaking get in the water. There were people trepidation about getting in a swimming pool after that movie back. My mom took me as a little kid. I still remember the line going around the block. But in honor of 50 years for Jaws, 1975, it's back in theaters this weekend.
Ooh, wow.
Dawn, Sean, and I bought our tickets about a month and a half ago. 4 o'clock showing at Marcus Theaters, and we will be front and center in the already got the seats. It said a month and a half. I don't know what kind of turnout there's going to be. There will be people from my generation that are there. I saw it in the theater. There's a whole multiple generations who have never seen Jaws in the theater. It's a different kind of experience. It scared everybody. Great freaking, one of my all-time favorites. And so, 4 o'clock, you know where I'll be.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. All right. I wanted to get to this story about Tyler Hansbrough, Poplar Bluff native,
sure,
Hall of Famer at the University of North Carolina. Solid, NBA career. Came off the bench a lot. You were kind of hoping maybe he would have like an all-star type NBA career. It didn't happen. He made plenty of money. He's doing analyst work during games. Now he is doing professor things. Professor Psycho T. He has joined University of North Carolina professor Livis Freeman teaching MIHO 377 sports communications. Freeman has taught the class for years, and he has always capped it off at 60 students across 2 sections. But this semester, when word got out that Tyler Hansbrough was going to be his assistant professor, he expanded the class size to 100 students from 60, and he says there are still 50 students on the waiting list.
Oh, wow.
And so Hansbrough says, a little nervous at first, but he is excited about it, and he is now doing some teaching with this guy at the University of North Carolina. There's a good story in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. You can read all about it. But if you wondered what Tyler Hansbrough was up to, doing broadcasting work, and now back at his alma mater in Chapel Hill.
Obviously, he's staying with that, keeping that connection there with North Carolina. And I mean, why wouldn't you? If you're a student, why wouldn't you want to be taking classes from a Carolina Hall of Famer and a former NBA player? That'd be awesome.
I just think it's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Mizzou tonight. You can hear it on our sister station, 960 KZIM, SEC Network. You want to watch the Tigers in Central Arkansas. Penn State transfer Bo Prabula will play the first half, and Sam Horn will play the second half. A lot of people are reading into that. Well, it kind of sounds like it's Prabula's job to lose because he's getting the first half. You think maybe there's some truth to that or no?
Maybe a little, but I think let both halves play out, and Drinkwitz will see what happens from there.
I've not seen a line because when you play an FCS and it's an FBS, the lines come out like day of game. I'm sure it's probably out today. Like when SEMO plays Saturday, that line will come out Saturday morning. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the way it is with FCS. That's my experience. Not that I put bets on it, but I always like to see spreads. I think it's an interesting talking point, especially when you're on a broadcast. Okay, here's what the guys in Vegas believe is going to happen. All right, you are out, but you're back in tomorrow. I know you got to rush off to a meeting, so 1:15, and your prediction is barely 15-2. 15-2 at Busch Stadium for the Business Person Special.
That's it.
All right, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Say hello to the radiant and ravishing Dawn Shawn. She's getting ready to go to Jaws at Marcus Theater. Can't wait. I can quote every line of the movie. And believe me, she'll be irritated by the end of it listening to me not shut up. Clinton and Fred's coming up. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody.